I would like to take a few moments to read your rights as the caregiver of your child in receiving services through HSP Speech Pathology. You have the right to be fully informed in advance about service care to be provided, including the disciplines that furnish care to your child and the frequency of visits, as well as any modifications to the service plan. You have the right to receive information about services provided under the Medicaid home health benefit. You have the right to participate in the development and periodic revision of the plan of care and be advised of any change in the plan of care before it is made. You have the right to be informed of the right to refuse in advance or during care or treatment after the consequences of refusing care or treatment are fully presented. You have the right to participate in, be fully informed about, and consent to completion of all assessments, care to be furnished based on the assessments, expected outcomes, including developing patient-identified goals, disciplines that will furnish care, and frequencies of visits, anticipated risks and benefits, factors that could affect treatment, and changes in care to be furnished. You have the right to be informed, both verbally and in writing, of care being provided of the charges, including payment for service and care, including payment of service expected from third parties, and any charges for which the patient will be responsible, and the extent to which payment for home health services may be expected from Medicare, Medicaid, or any other federally funded or federal aid program known to the home health agency. The charges of services that may not be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or any other federally funded or federal aid program known to the home health agency. The charges the individual may have to pay for before care is initiated, and any charges in the information provided in accordance with 442 CFR 484.507 of this section when it occurs. The home health agency must advise the patient and representative, if any, of these changes as soon as possible in advance of the next home health visit. You have the right to receive all services in the plan of care. You have the right to receive written notice in advance of services being furnished if the agency believes services may not be covered by the patient's payer, and in advance of the agency reducing or terminating care. You have the right to have your property and to be treated with respect, consideration, and recognition of patient dignity and individuality. You have the right to be able to identify visiting staff members through proper photo identification. You have the right to be free from mistreatment, neglect, or verbal, mental, sexual, and physical abuse, including injuries of unknown source and misappropriation of patient property. You have the right to voice grievances, complaints regarding treatment of care that is or fails to be furnished, or lack of respect of property investigated. You have the right to voice grievances and complaints regarding treatment of care, lack of respect of property, or recommended changes in policy, staff or service care without restraint, interference, coercion, discrimination, or reprisal. You have the right to choose a healthcare provider, including an attending physician. You have the right to confidentiality and privacy of all information contained in the patient record and of protected health information. You have the right to be advised on agency's policies and procedures regarding the disclosure of clinical records. You have the right to receive appropriate care without discrimination in accordance with physician orders. You have the right to be informed of any financial benefits to the agency when referred to an organization. You have the right to be fully informed of one's responsibilities. You have the right to receive information about the scope of services that the organization will provide and specific limitations on those services. You have the right to be informed of patient rights under state law to formulate advance directives. You have the right to be informed of anticipated outcomes of care and of any barriers in outcome achievement. You have the right to be informed of that OASIS information collected will not be disclosed except for legitimate purposes allowed by the Privacy Act. You have the right to be advised orally and in writing before care is initiated of the extent that payment for the agency services may be expected from Medicare or other sources, and that the extent of the payment, furthermore, to receive written notice of if the agency believes a service is not covered. You have the right to be informed of organizational ownership and control. You have the right to be informed of the names and addresses of federally and state-funded entities that serve the area in which the client resides. Agency Area on Aging, Center for Independent Living, Protection and Advocacy Agency, Aging and Disability Resource Center, Quality Improvement Organization. You also have the right to be informed of the right to access and how to access auxiliary aids and language services by requesting these from the agency staff. If you feel that your rights have been violated, you may contact the agency directly or Brenda Hawksma, the administrator, at 303-919-6799. Hawksma Speech Pathology is an accredited home health care agency that has received deemed status with the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare. You may contact CHAP for complaints or questions about the agency.